There are anime that are born as legends and die as broken promises. Those that gave us a first season so perfect, so explosive, we thought this is going to change anime forever. But no, they were never the same again. Today, we're talking about those franchises that had it all. Stunning animation, captivating stories, characters overflowing with charisma, and yet, for some reason, they deflated faster than the hype of a poorly animated CGI sequel. In this top 5, we're diving into anime franchises that peaked in their very first season and never managed to recapture that original magic. The criteria? We're looking at cultural impact, animation quality, storytelling, audience reception, and that special something that turned them into short-lived phenomena. Have you ever watched a first season and thought, this is a masterpiece, only to watch everything fall apart like a house of cards built on a slashed budget? Then this video is definitely for you. So get comfortable, put on your headphones, and get ready, because these are the 5 anime franchises that touched the sky and then crashed with no safety net. And you, which anime do you think belongs on this list? Drop it in the comments and let's see if we agree. A world trapped inside a video game? Wait, isn't this just Sword Art Online? Log Horizon throws us straight into Elder Tale, an MMORPG that overnight stops being just a game. Thousands of players suddenly find themselves unable to log out, forced to survive in a world where system rules become laws of life. But unlike other isekai, this isn't about mindless battles, it's about building a society from scratch. Why is it on the list? The first season was pure gold for fans of the genre. It gave a mature, strategic twist to the classic trapped in a game trope. No overpowered protagonist out of nowhere, no forced romances, everything felt measured, intelligent, and with genuine world building. The community loved it because it was different until it wasn't. Highlights: a mastermind protagonist like Shiro who won with brains, not brute force. A plot that focused on politics, virtual economy, and player cooperation. An immersive OST and rich setting that made you want to live in Elder Tale. And best of all, characters who grew emotionally and mentally. Fun fact: many fans call Shiro the Batman of MMOs for how he pulls the strings from the shadows, although not even his intellect could save the train wreck of Season 3. What happens when an ordinary guy gets caught in a war between humans and monsters and becomes both? Tokyo Ghoul introduces us to Kaneki, a quiet and shy university student whose life takes a bloody turn after a terrifying encounter with a ghoul, a creature that survives by devouring humans. Now trapped between two worlds, Kaneki must adapt to his new, darker reality or be consumed by it. Why is it on the list? Season 1 hit hard, both visually and emotionally. With a raw, violent, and existential story, Tokyo Ghoul blended bloody action with a deep moral dilemma that struck a chord with an entire generation of anime fans. It became one of the most talked about series of its year and catapulted Sui Ishida's name into the spotlight of modern shonen with seinen flair. Highlights: bold, stylized animation, and yes, that opening, Unravel, is pure legend. A protagonist who evolves from fragile innocence into inner darkness. A grim urban setting laced with philosophical undertones about identity, humanity, and monstrosity. The tragedy of living between two worlds and belonging to neither. Fun fact: Unravel became so popular you can find it in piano covers, metal remixes, lo-fi beats, and yes, even cumbia versions. A perfect orphanage, happy kids, a loving mother, sounds adorable, until you realize something smells worse than reheated broccoli. The Promised Neverland follows Emma, Norman, and Ray, 3 genius kids living in what seems like an ideal orphanage. But when they uncover a dark secret about their fate, they must craft an escape plan and survive in a world far more terrifying than they ever imagined. Why is it on the list? Season 1 was a suspense masterpiece, with perfect pacing, unpredictable twists, and a narrative so tense you could cut it with a butter knife. It wowed fans and critics alike. Instead of your usual battle-heavy shonen, this was a cerebral thriller where brains beat brawn, and the real enemy lurked in the shadows. Highlights: flawless direction that handled tension like a psychological thriller, lovable yet complex characters with clear motivations and emotional growth, a visual style that masterfully shifted from cute to disturbing, a chilling soundtrack that raised goosebumps, no overkill needed. Fun fact, many fans still call Season 2 animated fanfiction and suggest reading the manga as the only real way to experience the full story. What if I told you the future of Japanese soccer depends on a training camp where only one can survive? And no, this isn't Captain Tsubasa Battle Royale Edition. Blue Lock throws us headfirst into an insane experiment. Gather Japan's best young strikers in a soccer prison where only the most selfish, ruthless, and goal-hungry will earn the right to represent the nation. Forget teamwork. Here, it's shine or vanish. Why is it on the list? Season 1 was an adrenaline-fueled hype train. It pulled off the unthinkable, turning a sports anime into something that feels like a shonen battle series. With explosive visuals, quote-worthy lines, and characters that radiate antagonist energy, Blue Lock made waves both inside and outside the anime world. It even gave Japanese football a post-World Cup popularity boost. Highlights: a bold and dynamic visual style, think Dragon Ball level animation during goal scenes, an epic soundtrack that perfectly scored each ego-awakening moment. Charismatic players like Isagi, Bachira, and Rin, each driven by intense personal motivations. A narrative blend of sports, psychology, and raw competitive fire. Fun fact, Blue Lock became so popular that the JFA, Japan Football Association, used it in official campaigns. Yes, a show about extreme narcissism promoting teamwork. God-tier irony. A legendary order of knights, a kingdom in chaos, and a protagonist who looks like a pervy dwarf but can literally blow up mountains. What could possibly go wrong? Well, everything. The 7 Deadly Sins follows Elizabeth, a princess on a quest to find the infamous knights known as the 7 Deadly Sins to save her crumbling kingdom. Along the way, she meets Meliodas, the seemingly harmless leader of the group, and together they dive into a high-stakes adventure full of magic, demons, and secrets buried deep in the past. Why is it on the list? Season 1 hit the shonen fandom right in the feels. With its perfect blend of brutal action, light-hearted comedy, and a lovable cast, Nanatsu no Taizai quickly became a fan favorite. It brought epic fantasy back into the anime spotlight, and its crisp, vibrant animation stole the hearts of viewers around the globe. Highlights: jaw-dropping battles with flashy and creative powers. A plot full of well-placed mysteries and addictive twists. Epic soundtrack and iconic openings like Netsuju no Spectrum, distinctive character designs, and compelling development arcs. Fun fact, Season 3 switched studios, hello Studio Dean, and many fans still haven't forgiven it. Some even treat the manga as the real story and pretend the anime ended after Season 1. Were you also swept up in the hype, only to have your heart shattered by those cursed fight scenes? Drop the exact moment you realized there was no turning back in the comments. And there you have it, 5 anime that started with a bang, promised us glory, and ended up giving us, well, special effects and disappointment. From the ruthless strategy of Log Horizon, the emotional nosedive of Tokyo Ghoul, and the deadly twist of The Promised Neverland, to the ego-fueled roller coaster of Blue Lock and the visual collapse of the 7 Deadly Sins, these anime were fireworks. Bright, loud, and short-lived. Anime is an art where first impressions matter a lot. Sometimes one season is enough to become legendary, and sometimes that same spark ends up burning all the potential. Whether it's studio changes, production mishaps, or a total loss of direction, these stories remind us how hard it is to keep the bar high in an unforgiving industry. What about you? Which anime broke your heart after a brilliant first season? What other title do you think deserves a spot on this list? Tell us in the comments, let's get the debate going. And if you like this video, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and ring that bell for more rankings, reviews, and shared otaku tears. See you in the next video, because in anime, just like in life, not everything that starts well ends well.